when you see the reality is like a block, something like a hole. Like we could say also it is like a gestalt, the idea of one object. And very often this object, with the time, because there is some reason that create this object, but with the time you lose the origin of the form or of the shape. You don't know anymore why it is like this, and why, for example, why Venice have this kind of urban structure, why there is some campo, why there is, and we forget it, and sometimes with the time we have some wrong idea about something. For example, we think that the campo of Venice is a very interesting social place, social space where some social action could be made. You could go to the restaurant, meet people on the place, and things like this. But the origin of the campo is in fact not a social place, but it is a system to get the rainwater, because in Venice there is no water, no potable water, no drinking water. And so, in fact, the size of the campo and the fact that there is in Venice a lot of campo, a multiply of campo, it's not an urban decision, right? It's not an architectural decision as a social act. It is more a physiological need, and today we forget this basic idea, and we keep only the result, and we forget the origin of things. My idea is to take the reality of Venice and to destroy it, to decompose it in small elements, and to find the reason of things, and to rebuild something new with this particle of things. For example, Charles Baudelaire, the French poet, says that to do something new, to invent something new, you have to destroy the reality. And so the artist takes this idea of chemical decomposition, of this scientific idea of chemical decomposition, and do it in his own way to do art. And for example, Charles Baudelaire do it with poetry, and also the impressionist painter like Claude Monet, for example, they decompose the reality in small particles of color, and they are following, with doing this, they are following chemistry man called Chevreuil, that understand that the light is not only white, but it's composed of different wavelengths of different color, and so it decomposes everything in small spot of color, and they do some painting with a small spot of color, like impressionist painting or pointillism. And so the idea of the workshop, it is the same. It is the idea to do like Claude Monet, to decompose the image of Venice, the reality of Venice, into some particle, into some chemical element, and from this element to do a new Venice that could have a little the same idea than the old Venice, but in a completely new way. Before, the space was, as an architect, you work only on the wall, on the roof, on the ceiling, on the floor, and the space was a kind of consequence of what you do around it. And now I think that the space itself, the air, you could decompose it into chemical particles, because we understand that the air, it's also oxygen and nitrogen and different gas, and also we understand that there is some relative humidity inside that move, there is movement of air, there is some heat, convection. In a contemporary way, it's important to work on the space itself, and of course it comes from the idea to reduce global warming, the idea to be in sustainability. I asked to decompose Venice into particles of things, and the workshop will be in 3 steps. First there will be an urban step, and after an architectural step, and after the last indoor interior step. lot of schools in Switzerland, in Copenhagen, in France, and so now, so it's very interesting because of course each school is different and the knowledge is very different, and so now it's too, I think it's too free too new to do to say something, but we do some courses on 3D, for example, with my assistant. They give some courses to the students how to make to work with Rhino on Maya and different software like this. And so I think it was quite new for a lot of students and quite interesting for them also to have this